Hi, this is Terry O'Reilly, founder of OBP Australia. This presentation will explain how interview coaching works and why it's so important. Let's start off by asking, why do we fear job interviews? It's the fear of the unknown. What are they going to ask you? If you have a good understanding of the job and the company, most of the questions can be predicted. How should you respond and interact? Knowing how to make the interview conversational, so it's not like an interrogation. Knowing how to come across as likable and a good fit. And knowing what to ask at the interview and how to ask it. Then there's the fear of failure. You're carrying the weight of your hopes and ambitions, thinking, what if I don't get the job? The last thing you want is to leave an interview thinking, I really bombed out there. I could have done so much better. It could be the most important professional conversation you'll have. So what can interview coaching do for you? Firstly, you get to see and hear yourself in a video recorded interview situation. This is incredibly useful and the first step in improving your communication. Secondly, you get feedback on your performance. Identifying your areas for improvement. It's one thing to see and hear yourself, but you still need an impartial opinion on your efforts to make changes and improve. And finally, you get guidance and support with your practice. How would you like to interview as a relaxed, confident professional who knows their stuff? Having the peace of mind of knowing what the interviewers are going to ask and how to be natural and likable. And how to speak fluently about yourself and your experience. So here's how it works. We cover all types of interviews. Video, both recorded and live. These are now very common and efficient ways to assess candidates and require quite a different approach. Face-to-face, whether that be a conventional panel interview or one-to-one. A group interview, often used for customer service roles, and presentation interviews, where you're asked to give a presentation to an interview panel, very common for sales and marketing roles. And profession-specific interviews. For example, an interview for a role as an architect might be a casual chat in a cafe to discuss your work and fit with the company, which would be quite different to what you might expect for an interview as an IT project manager in a government department. And the sessions are video recorded for you to access online via password. Now let's take a look at the process. The coaching is delivered in 4 stages: preparation, session 1, practice, and session 2. Let's take a closer look at each stage. First, I need to see your resume. The more I understand about what you have done, the better position I'm in to advise. It's also good if we have a position description to work from. This could be for a real job for an upcoming interview, one that you've already applied for, or one that matches the job you want. It needs to be one advertised directly by the organisation, not one from an external recruiter. The reason being, job interviews are half about you, half about the organisation. So, we need to know the organisation to prepare properly. Then I'll supply you with some pre-reading resources in preparation for session 1, along with questions likely to be asked at the interview, based on what information I have about the role and the company. We can predict most of what's going to be asked in the interview, so you can have the confidence that you are well prepared. Session 1 is 90 minutes and will cover a tech check, which looks at the technology and software considerations for video interviews, the importance of knowing the job and knowing the company, body language and presentation, answering questions, including using the STAR method for behavioural questions, and the conversational approach, or how to turn the interview into a conversation and not endure an interrogation. Ideally, it's good to have a gap between session 1 and session 2 to digest what we've discussed in session 1, to review the video recording, and so you have time to practice in your own time on the areas of focus raised during session 1. All video recordings can be downloaded for you to watch. Session 2 is 60 minutes. That makes a total of 2.5 hours of recorded interview coaching. Here we review, reflect and discuss. Do further practice. You receive further feedback. We discuss other concerns you have about the interview and prepare further practice for going forward. You'll be amazed by the difference comparing your performance in session 1 to your performance in session 2. So why wouldn't you want to prepare as best as you can for potentially the most important professional conversation of your life? You only get one chance to make a first impression. If you'd like to dramatically improve your interview performance, email me and we can talk.